Hello there, Chicuz!
Welcome to Chicuz Radio, where two cousins share their journey of self love, personal growth, and adulting in general. We are your hosts, Chelsea,
And Aika!
inviting you to join us in this week's episode.
Tara! Let's make Chica! Woo!
Yay! Kabisado ko na yung spiel natin.
Yes! Congratulations! Hello, welcome back, everybody. It's episode 9 of the podcast, if I'm not mistaken. So, what are you grateful for this week?
Ah, something that I'm really grateful for this week is actually we're done with the summer classes. So, I survived another PTC. Ewan ko, every time na nagpi-PTC kami in school, parang kahit nakailang PTC, nakailan na ba ako? Hindi ko na rin mabilang, pero dami na ako ng PTCs. But every time, parang lagi akong feeling ko, hindi ako super prepared, ganyan. Kaya every time na nasusurvive ko yung ilang days ng PTC namin, sobrang super super grateful ako. Sobrang nakahinga ako ng maluwag. And so every after PTC, parang it's always me giving a pat on my own back.
Yes,
Parang
ganda.
mali.
Tama,
Uh,
tama.
giving myself a pat on the back na yeah, I was able to survive. I was able to explain and connect to the parents how their kids were. Kasi, syempre, parents sila eh. They tend to be really protective of their kids and importante sa kanila yung education because of course they're paying for it.
Of
And
course.
it's a great achievement for me na you know, not just the kids enjoying in class, but also being able to translate it to the parents and making them understand how their kids are doing and that everything that we do in class has a purpose and oh wow, has a purpose. And keyword of the day. And yeah, na actually which is actually a good thing pala in the online class setup kasi 'di ba online class nakikita ng parents how their kids are really doing in class kasi nasa bahay lang sila eh. So nakikita nila how their kids are engaging in the online class and nakakatuwa na nagma-match na
Ang ganda.
na nagma-match na the parents are seeing their kids improving at the same time kami din teachers we were able to make the parents feel na they're really doing a good job. So yan. How
Yes.
about you? Sorry, ang dami ko nang nasabi.
It's
Anyway, yan.
okay. Pero grabe, sa lahat ng mga teachers dyan na nagpi-PTC, kung nakarelate kayo sa kinakabahan at sa experience na nakakatuwa kapag nag-enjoy or nagma-match yung expectations ng teachers and ng parents sa progress ng kids, well, shout out sa inyo and comment kayo sa
Yes.
amin. We'd love to hear your stories then. So, yes, my turn. Finally, makakakuha na ako ng vaccine next week. Yes. Whew.
Yeah.
Yes. Nakapag-book na ako this week. So, my first dose will be on the 8th.
Do you have a choice? What kind of vaccine will you get?
Wala. Well, may
Okay.
choice. Depende kung saan magpupuntang clinic or magpupuntang community center. So, yung pinakamalapit sa akin is Pfizer yung vaccine. So, that's what I'm going to get. So, really grateful for that. Kasi ang tagal-tagal ko talaga siyang inintay. Finally. Ayun siya.
I'm also happy for you. Kami kasi we're still waiting. Well, I had a lot of opportunities already for the vaccine, pero as a family, we prefer to be able to choose what kind of vaccine we'll get. So, for our episode this week, we are going to talk about how to live an intentional life.
Yes. And so paano ba? How did your journey start?
Me living an intentional life didn't start early. Siguro it was just a few years ago lang. So before, I used to be driven by passion. Ewan ko, before for us, or at least for me, when you say you're passionate about something, it's an extreme feeling na parang you have to pursue that passion of yours. So for example, I used to want to pursue a career in performing arts. So I also, yun nga passionate ako on that ano ba, industry or
Yeah.
career, that I was so willing to do anything. Kasi nga, extreme yung feeling of being passionate, di ba? Um, just for me to satisfy the passion na I had in me nga. Background, I've been a dancer ever since I can remember. Um, I was even encouraged by the people around me to like pursue a career in show business when I was a kid. Kasi nga I like performing, I like the feeling of being on stage. And and not just the performing part, but also the preparing, the late night practices na minsan pinapagalitan na ako ng tatay ko kasi late na ako nakakauwi from my dance practices back in college. So, but I really enjoy the process. I really, pagdating sa stage, alam mong worth it lahat ng pagod. So, I know I was happy, but I didn't realize why. Walang bakit ka nga ba happy? I had no concrete reason for running after that dream aside from the passionate feeling that I had. So when I started
Interesting.
pursuing it, parang I kind of got lost along the way because my reason for pursuing was unclear. Then I realized that my relationships with the people around me were more important than pursuing a feeling. Kasi feelings, they fade. They come and go. They'll most probably, will wither and fade eventually. So I open up myself to something else, something bigger. Medyo flowery words, no? Pero I was really into improving my life or myself for the better, and I've always been someone who aims to, be the best version of myself. That I knew coming after the feeling was not enough. To cut the story short, kasi I'm gonna sinabi. I remember I was on a phone call with you. I was at the
Oh.
most uh yes, I was at the most one of the most difficult time in my life, especially in my career. I was at a difficult stage in my career because I knew I needed to at least establish something because we're not getting any younger. So parang I was kind of pressured to decide on something. So back then I was already a preschool teacher in a small play school, but I remember during that phone call you asked me what my why is in teaching. And that was the first time, as in that was the first time that was the first time that I had to think of that why. Parang ako, I haven't encountered that question before. So we were discussing, you were explaining to me why is it important to have your why in any aspect of your life. So ikaw yung key.
Grabe. I
Akin.
feel very honored.
But
First
really,
time, oh sorry.
go ahead.
No, I just wanna say na first time kong marinig yung story na yon na may ganong impact pala. Because I know, of course, I know of that event. I remember that. Pero to hear na that was the first time you actually heard of the question na bakit mo ginagawa yung ginagawa mo. it really like warms my heart right now. So, yes, go ahead.
Baka maiyak ka. Hug, virtual hug.
Hindi, okay lang 'to, kaya ko 'to.
But really, it was that phone call. And then we were discussing it, you were explaining it to me. And then that was when my moment of epiphany, yes,
Yes.
I told you that my why in teaching is to hear the children, the younger generation, to help them find their voice in the society. And we knew that it was a moment of realization because we had goosebumps. Remember?
Yes,
Parang
yes,
you told me, diba, over the
yes.
phone. I got teary eyed, or maybe I was crying, already crying back then.
I think you
Parang,
cried.
parang umiyak na ako sa'yo nun. But, yun nga, when I realized that, kung ano yung reason ko dun sa chosen career ko, parang, natigil yung worries lahat. Yun, and, you know what, until now, it's what's helping me to show up and, validate my career as a teacher.
Yes, grabe, I'm so proud of you for discovering that why and for sticking to it. Kasi some people, they go on with their lives without knowing their why in their chosen careers or in their relationships. Pero ikaw, at a young age, wow, young age talaga. Pero seriously, 'di ba? Kasi hindi pa naman talaga tayo very old. Medyo tita levels lang. Pero hindi pa tayo yung like senior citizen old. So, 'di ba kasi sometimes yung mga senior citizens na sila but then tsaka lang nila nare-realize na, ay, hindi pala ito yung gusto ko. Because dun lang nila naisip yung why talaga nila in doing that certain career na maybe hindi pala yun talaga yung gusto nila and they've lived what most of their lives miserable.
Or
So,
like, even other people, they live their lives not knowing what their why is.
yes, exactly. At 'di ba, minsan talaga, you know, wala lang. I mean, sometimes there's nothing wrong with just existing. Pero hindi ko kasi, for me personally, I can't imagine myself living a life where I don't have a destination or nababaliw talaga ako. As in parang, I need something. I need something
Yes.
to fuel me.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Ikaw ba, Cuz? What's your story?
Okay. So, sa akin, sa'yo very personal, no? For me, well, sige, personal na rin kasi close kami ni Oprah. Si Oprah talaga ang aking life mentor. Isa talaga siya sa life mentors ko. Ang dami kong realizations every time I listen to Super Soul Sunday. So, during that time of our phone call, ano yun eh, talagang nagbe-binge ako ng Oprah content and pati yung content ng guests niya. And paulit-ulit niyang sinasabi sa podcast the reason that changed her career. Because she's already Oprah. Meron na, nag-start na yung The Oprah Show. Pero, nagbago lahat yon when she read the book Seat of the Soul by Gary Zukav. And when she read the line, and I'm paraphrasing here, the line that says, you create your reality with your intentions. So, paraphrase yon, hindi ko siya ma-quote. Pero you can search for the actual quote from the book. But that's the bottom line. And yun yung naging direction niya and she changed the Oprah show na every time nga sinasabi niya na pupunta sa kanya yung writers or producers, she is going to ask, what is the intention behind that proposal? Do'n nag-start yung sa'kin talaga, na parang, oo nga 'no, it makes sense na ano nga ba talaga yung intention ng bawat actions natin or ng bawat thoughts natin. Kasi yun yung sinasabi nung quote sa Seat of the Soul that behind our actions, behind our thoughts and our words are our intentions na tayo lang ang nakakaalam personally. And to add on to that, there is this book that I really, really love by Simon Sinek. It's called Start with Why. I think binabasa ko din siya during that time na we
Mm-hmm.
had the phone call. And the book is mostly for entrepreneurs. Hindi naman talaga siya self-help book na
Mm-hmm.
for, alam mo, like for personal development. I mean, personal development siya, but more into business. But it really changed then my perspective because it added on na you start with why and then you follow through with the what and the how. Hindi lang siya nag-e-end dun sa why na yon. So, sobrang, if you have the chance, please listen to Oprah's interview with Gary Zukov and read or watch the TED Talk of Simon Sinek about starting with why.
Mm-hmm.
We will link the description sa YouTube
Yes.
or we will post it sa Facebook group or sa IG. You can check it out. So that's how my journey with living an intentional life started.
So since you already shared uh, some of the things that our listeners or viewers from YouTube, the things that they can do to be enlightened or to know their why. Um, Actually, I also included that in one of the points that I want to share is, yeah, for them to read the book Start with Why by Simon Sinek. Is that how you pronounce his last name?
I'm not sure.
So just correct us in the description box or sa community page. But yeah, um, read the book. I haven't finished the book yet. No, I was able to read hanggang dun sa part na Simon Sinek explained the golden circle. So na-mention na ni Ate Aika na the book is actually a book about it's for entrepreneurs or how to start your business. But it is applicable in many aspects in our lives. One of which nga is knowing your why in your chosen career, or like I'm just relating it. I was just able to relate it in my current situation. I mean, my situation back then. So I haven't finished the book yet, but I have read the part where he discussed the golden circle, and I'll try to explain na. I'll try to explain lang to our viewers kasi syempre, mas okay kung may visual, no? Pero sa podcast, wala naman tayong visual. So anyway, the golden circle um, consists of circles within circles. So there are 3 circles. The inner circle is your why, and after your why, another circle is your how, and then the outer circle is your what. So Simon Sinek explains that most businesses they work around with just their what. So what they do, their services, their products, or the products that they offer. Businesses also they also know their how. So like how to sell their products, how to market their products. However, the reason why businesses don't last is because they don't know their why. Or like ang daming nangyayari sa businesses mo na unstable in a way kasi nga you don't know your why. Your why is why you do the things that you do. Why do you sell these services and these products? So it says in the book that why is not about making money. It's making money is the result, diba? So why is your purpose or your cause or your belief. It's the very reason your business exists. So whenever you start a project or career or whatever the thing or whatever things that you do in life, you choose to do in life, work around with your why instead of just knowing what your what's and hows are. I hope I made sense. But if I did not, just read the book.
Yes, or watch the TED Talk. Maiksi lang yung TED Talk. Go
Mm.
watch it on YouTube and it might change your life the way it changed ours.
So, do you have any other tips? Like, ikaw, how were you able to to know your why?
Okay.
Aside from listening to the podcast and reading the book.
Okay, I have three that I use, pero lahat sila related. So, I'll go with the first one, which I actually heard during the time na na-discover ko din ang Living an Intentional Life from Oprah and Simon Sinek. So this was from a workshop I had for work. And yung key takeaway ko sa buong workshop na yon was to ask why 5 times. So, for example, uh, for a career, so if you want to change careers or if you want to move to a different job or a different company, you ask yourself why 5 times. So, for example, bakit ko gustong lumipat sa company B? Kasi mas maganda yung offer ni company B. So, why do I want a bigger offer? Kasi mas makakatulong siya for my career. So, tatanong mo ulit, why do I want to improve my career? So, paulit-ulit yung question ng why until you come to a point na yun na talaga yung pinaka-reason mo. Yun na yung pinaka-intention mo. So, that transitions to my second practice, which is from Jay Shetty naman about seeds and weeds. So, it's basically that way na every time he needs to make a decision, he thinks about it whether it's a seed or it's a weed. So, kung yung purpose niya or yung intention niya rather is a weed, meaning it's for fame, ganyan, or it's for clout, or it's to brag. So that's a weed. Pero a seed is, for example, the intention is for making wisdom viral or for helping other people. So you really check whether it's a seed or a weed. And then it also relates to going full circle to Gary Zukov, where he had this interview with Marie Forleo recently. And the question really just boils down to whether your intention is out of fear or out of love. So related rin siya dun sa seeds or weeds, 'di ba? Kung ano lang yung gusto mong term, I think. So, if it's out of fear, it's, yun nga, for clout or for bragging. Pero if it's out of love, it's because it makes you happy or it's for self-fulfillment or for helping other people. And yung point din nun is that you can tell everybody that your why is out of love or it's for seeds, but deep down, it can be out of fear. So you won't be able to fake it within yourself. You can lie to everybody else, but your why, your intention behind that decision or that action is solely yours. And yun din point ni Gary is that it will always come back to you kung ano yung intention mo. So if your intention is out of love, the universe or God will give you back love. Pero kung yung intention mo is out of fear or weeds, then at some point, babalik din sa'yo yon. And yes, those are, I think, 3 tips na ginagawa ko to know my why. So to ask 5 whys, to check whether if the decision is or the intention is for seeds or weeds, and if it's out of love or out of fear.
Ang ganda. Feeling ko I'll also listen back to our podcast and take notes. Kasi dami ko din natutunan with all the things that you said. And I would just like to add, I guess knowing your why also takes a lot of um, time on reflecting, on having that time to really think about your thoughts, your intentions. Kasi of course not all of you will not have, the same moment that I had na parang bigla na lang the Holy Spirit reached out and made me realize things. Alam mo yun? Of course, not a lot of us, or sobrang rare lang nung mga ganong uh, events. So, it takes a lot of reflection. And I think something that I would like to add, if kaya, maybe aside from giving time to reflect on where you are in life and what you want to do in life, if it helps, you can ask someone or like a trusted person na you can discuss things with. Like for example, when I had that call with you, I had someone na I was able to discuss my current situation, the things or the factors that I consider in trying to decide, or really deep diving into the situation to be able to know my why. Or you can also talk to a therapist if you have one, para lang there's someone that can enlighten you with your reality also. Kasi sometimes tayo hindi natin nakikita yung outside situation. So it might help a lot to have someone outside who can see the bigger picture for you to have a more, I guess, genuine reflection, yeah, of your life.
Yes, or sometimes yung tao na yon doesn't necessarily need to give you advice or ask you questions, but simply to listen to you.
Mm-hmm.
Kasi nangyari sa akin na I just talked to my best friend, and ako mismo yung nakaka-realize na habang nagkukuwento ako sa process ng rants ko or ng pag-iyak ko na bigla akong pagtawa, so the whole process of just having that conversation, it helped me realize the whys
Yes.
on my own. So, kung wala mang trusted person, you can jot it down, journal it. It helps. At the end of the day, the answers will always come from within. Yes.
Ganda.
And since we're talking about this, how we started in this journey and how to know nga our whys, ano naman ang mga share mo na whys mo ngayon sa iyong life?
Ano ba? I guess, sige, I would like to share yung intentions ko in my YouTube channel. Kasi I need to be reminded kasi tagal ko nang hindi nag-upload.
Okay, plug again, Dear Jessie, YouTube. That's Jessy for Jessie.
Yes. So I'm honestly I've been struggling in putting content out there. Pero whenever I try to think about things, I would always go back to this why. So in my YouTube channel, why do I want to have a YouTube channel? Well, number one, kasi di ba may levels. So number one, why? Because I want to have a life outside of my day job. Number two, because I want to continuously develop my public speaking skills. Why? Because I want to, um, I want to be able to communicate to the people the learnings that I have in life. Why? Because I want to be someone that I needed when I was growing up. Why? Because adulting is freaking hard. And I want to also document how I was able to overcome those challenges. Why? Because it makes me feel happy and it makes me feel proud of myself when I look back on things. Parang ang dami ko na atang why. Pero kasi, the one I heard, di ba sabi mo kanina, five, yung parang five
Yes.
levels of why.
Yes.
The one I heard from another podcast naman, sa kanya seven. So, ang practice ko, seven.
O baka 7 nga, baka
Ang
mali ako.
dami.
Pero
Pero
kasi feeling ko ang dami na
siguro,
7.
oo, siguro least na yun. Parang
Okay,
at least five, maximum seven.
7.
Siguro. Pero don't quote us on this. Hindi kami sure.
Yes, basta make sure na at least 5 ha, para talaga
Yes.
deep.
Yun. So, yun yung sa YouTube channel ko. Oh, wow. First time ko i-share yun. Kasi yun nga, sabi ko, I've been really struggling in knowing my whys in my channel. So, ngayon, I'm reminded again. Kailangan ko na mag-edit. How about you, Cuz?
Wow. For me, yung example ko is hindi naman siya levels. Hindi ko siya tinake down notes with the levels. Pero more on sa, for example, is yung we shared na before sa ating mid-year review, yung reason why I want to continue this podcast. So if you want to know the reason, you check out our mid-year review. And
Yes.
then and then if you have a vlog, a YouTube channel, I actually have a blog. And I wrote down my why for my blog. Personally, it's cathartic and it's my little treasure box for the future. And why do I want to share it? To connect to people who feel or felt the same thing that I felt when I wrote those pieces. And to let them know that they are not alone and to inspire and uplift people. So, yun yung main reason ko kung bakit hanggang ngayon I still try to write that blog. I actually wrote lang yung why ko when I rebranded, when I updated the blog na para mas maganda siyang tignan. But I had that blog, well, I think since 2014. Basta sobrang tagal na.
Post the
So,
link.
wow. It's hoyharu at wordpress.com or .wordpress.com. Hala, hindi sure. Basta, it's hoyharu at wordpress.com. And aside from that, sa blog ko and sa podcast, I think yung sa adulting things naman is work, for example. What is my why with regards to work? Well, because it is my main source of income and it is my source of, surviving and being able to live and have my basic necessities and to travel and to have all this leisures in life. So, yun. Yun yung sa work. And then sa finances naman, I also have my why for my savings. So parang, para saan ba tong savings na to? For retirement, for travel, for emergency. So, alam mo yon. And I think one concrete example of that is when whenever I have to choose to like splurge, my why will remind me that, oh, hindi pala ako dapat mag-splurge ngayon kasi I have this goal na I need to save up or I need to do auto deduction sa aking bank for my savings and not really touch that account. So yun yung isa sa concrete examples of how it helps me in showing up in my everyday life. Ikaw naman.
Ang galing lang. I would just like to say na ang galing kasi I mean, the book, yung Start with Why, it's about business, pero you know, being intentional is really not just, you know, not just a work, but also your personal projects, anything, any aspect in your life, even in your relationships,
Yes,
right?
exactly. And
So
I'll go.
go ahead.
Okay. Because you mentioned about relationships. So I just want to give like an example of an adulting decision that I don't know if others do, but I do with regards to relationships with friends. Kasi syempre, 'di ba, we have work and napapagod din tayo. And then our friends also wants to hang out with us. So there is always that question of sasama ba ako or hindi? Yung alam mo yun? And
Yes.
with that small question and that decision, I use the concept of why. So I'll ask myself, am I really that tired that I need to prioritize myself? Or tinatamad lang ako? So if it's the former, which is I need to rest, then it's a valid why. Pero kung tinatamad lang ako, I will go out and meet up my friends because the why of investing in my relationships is bigger than my tamad. Ang konyo
Yes.
by my tamad.
Actually, while we're discussing our whys in any aspect in our lives, while we were discussing and sharing things, I realized na knowing your why also um, lets you know what your values in life.
Yes, exactly.
No? Yeah,
Totoo.
self-explanatory.
No, okay, sige. I think I can dive more into that. Kasi aside from your why, providing clarity of your intentions, which shows your values as a person, it also gives you that motivation or drive. And your why serves as your North Star. So kung naliligaw ka na, even if you have like detours along the way, as long as you know your why, you know your destination, kaya mong bumalik dun sa path na yon. And ayun nga, it shows you your values nga kasi
Totoo.
ano, kasi ano, wala na. Okay na, stop na dun.
Yun. um, I would just also like to add. So since you shared about having your why as your north star, um, knowing your why helps you find your way in life. Share ko lang sa work ko, 'di ba? I mentioned already na my why in my career as a teacher is because I want to listen to the voices or the thoughts of the children every day. And because it's that simple, it helps me to show up to work every day. Especially during tough days. Hindi naman ako, I mean, I'll be honest, 'di ba? Ang daming tough days as a teacher. Kasi
Sobra.
nade-drain yung energy mo most of the time. And So knowing that I heard and listened to even just one kid helps me validate my work and that I'm doing a good job. So it keeps me, knowing that na nagawa ko yon, it helps me feel accomplished kahit yun lang yung nagawa ko for the day. Alam mo yun?
Oo,
Kahit,
totoo. Yes. Ayun nga, yung sinabi ko kanina, your why fuels your dreams. Kasi nakakatamad naman talaga minsan dahil lalo na kung nakakapagod. Parang, ayoko na, tama na, let's quit, ganyan. But knowing that why and sticking to that why is what will push us to proceed and to go on living and pushing for that dream or that career or that whatever goal man yan na
mhm.
gusto mo.
So before we wrap things up, do you have any final thoughts or sharing for our topic today?
Final thoughts, I think for me is knowing your why will definitely change your life. But it's still up to you to listen to us. Kung
Yes.
gusto mong maniwala sa amin and sundin yung tips namin on how to find your why, it's up to you. Because as I've said earlier, your intentions are very, very personal. No other soul will know about it. Kasi pwede mo naman sabihin na iba yung intention mo. But deep down, you meant a different thing. So, it's up to you. But
Yeah.
it's a good practice to
Mhm.
know your why in everything that you do.
And you're free, you're actually free to change your why at some
Yes,
point
that's
in your
true.
life. I
Yes.
also, one last thing, on my part, I remember this analogy that I heard from a podcast. It's actually a Filipino podcast, from Camp Confidence, and they shared that, think of yourself in a car, in a journey using a car. So your passion is actually the gas, the fuel. So at some point mauubos siya, um at some point full tank ka, at some point mauubos siya. But your GPS or your map is your why. Kung
Wow.
saan ka papunta. So, and then also, no matter what routes you take, the destination will always be the same. Your why will always be the same. Your what's may change, but your whys will stay as it is. Yan. Unless nag-change route ka nga. Ay, nag-change destination ka nga.
Ang ganda. Ang hilig ko sabihin yung ang ganda, pero
Ako din.
ang ganda kasi, it's really beautiful. Wala nang nasabi. Let's wrap this up.
And that's a wrap. We hope this episode is helpful for you in any way. If you have questions, suggestions, and comments, feel free to tag us at Chicuz Radio in Instagram and Twitter.
Also, if you want to continue the conversation, feel free to head on to our Facebook page. That's Chicas Radio, CHICUZ Radio, and we'll see you there. And thank you for listening. We appreciate you. And as always, let's make Chica again soon. Paalam!
Bye!